Hello, everybody. Welcome to the tutorial on how to make a stamina, stance break kind of system from Elden Ring in Jujutsu Shenanigans Skill Builder. And before we start, I would like to say thank you all for watching my Moog video and for leaving likes, comments, just all of that I deeply appreciate, and it really is driving me forward to create more so that I can make the best quality movesets and the best quality tutorials for you. And just again, thank you. Truly, it means it really means a lot to me. Now, let's get into the tutorial. Now, as you can see, I have Moog back here with me. He's here from last time. And let's get into it. So, this stance break, it uses the base foundations of another guy's kind of like dodging, like auto dodge ability. I will leave a link in the description to that guy's channel so that you can see how he does his things. Really good tutorials, really easy to follow. Amazing information. Helped me a lot when I was making this, because without it, I don't think I would have been able to make this stance breaking. Either way. So, we're actually not going to start in the stance break. I will say, the stance breaking, if you have a spawn animation and a death animation or anything else inside of your character here, you want your stance break to go first, and if it doesn't go first, have a tag in your spawn animation or whatever else comes first that leads into your stance break. And what that looks like is a tag with a name, and make sure the second tag has the same name, the exact same name, no differences. The value can be whatever you want. The simplest one will always be 1, just to keep things normal, and if anything does fuck up, you know it's not going to be the value. The time doesn't really matter either, because you just need it to activate once, and then it's good to go forever. I just set mine to 9 because I was unsure, and giving yourself a bigger window to work with will, ensure that it will work properly. And then make sure check is off, add and remove is on, and set is on. And these two you don't need to worry about because they're already set to the correct things. Then in your stance break, you have tag with the same name, same value. Time doesn't really matter. The only time that does actually matter when you're making tags like this will be the tag that's causing the first move. And then check, add, remove, and set should be off, and branch doesn't matter. And last hit also does not matter. I'm not realizing this tag doesn't actually do anything, because it's not communicating to a branch. Huh. Oh, yeah, no, I know the reason why. It's because if it's at the top, if your stance break is at the top, you don't actually need to worry about it. Which, honestly, there's no reason to not put it at the top. This is just a failsafe for if you can't do that. Which, usually, you won't really need to run into that. So, if you are making this, this should go to the branch that this block is going to. Because, it, again, just a failsafe. Now, that out of the way, let's actually get into how this works. So, ignore the tag, pretend that's not there. The branch here. This goes to the second branch. You can name it whatever you want. I named mine blocking because it's blocking damage. And you can, again, branch names don't matter as long as you can understand what they are and they are not going to confuse you, then name it whatever you want. And last hit should be -1. -1 means it is affecting you. And an easy way to remember that is think about distance. A +1 is like you can go +1 distance to hit someone else. -1, that's negative distance. That's going back into you. So -1 will always mean it is going to you. And now we go into this. This is what makes the bulk of what it work. That sounded wrong in a way that made it not understandable. This is what makes the move work, is what I'm saying. Like, most of everything works because of this branch here. Now, you want to make a counter block. Time doesn't really matter. I just set mine to 2 to make sure things work. Again, same thing with the tag. It's just, I like to overshoot my times a little bit just to, like, really make it so that it doesn't underperform. And you can make your stance breaking effective by whatever you want. I will say, if you are going to do a stance break, Swarm is going to be the biggest enemy of anything that's using stance break. But if you don't want it to be, you can just turn it off. But I'm keeping mine on because this boss, frankly, needs some kind of way to easily defeat it because it's kind of powerful. And now here's some more important things. The stun should be 0. Should not cancel the enemy. The branch, not branch target, the branch should go to random or whatever you want to name it to another branch. This is your secondary branch. And branch target does not matter, and it should not remove on hit. And something else that also really matters, if we go into properties, no stun and no cancel. Use when obtained, and hide in base. Also hide in awakening. All of those should be turned on. Because using this move doesn't do anything. It's just going to clutter up your hotbar. And having no stun and no cancel on means that it's never going to go away. It's not going to, like, turn off and then never turn back on again, you know? So, it's like avoiding bugs. Anyway, so now that we have the counter done, we have a 0.1 second wait and a relatively long loop with a loopback amount of 2. And you don't want to set this to max, because if you do, it causes issues, and at least it happened for me. I don't know if it would happen for you, but just to be safe, you don't need this to be infinite, because, like, you also don't need to do fucking, like, that. You don't need to do that. Just a big number will suffice, because you're not going to be lasting that long as Moog. You're a boss fight, so the whole server is probably going to be against you. Or you're probably going to, like, reset yourself or swap to another character in between then. You're not playing Moog for, like, however long this may be. And now, let's go to the branch. This branch will then go to another branch. This is just how the auto dodge tutorial did it, because in their thing, this branch led to multiple branches with the random feature right here. Mine did that too, but then it started breaking, so I removed the randomness of it and I just left the one branch named 2. There used to be 1, 2, 3, but then, yeah, you can tell what I did there. And then this is where the complicated stuff goes in. I will go through this slowly, and I will go through this methodically. This is an animation just to let the enemy know that you have been hit. Same with both of these right here. You can make this whatever you want. I suggest, obviously, stabilized target short is good for like a little flinch. And then make sure that you have fade in and fade out at least at 0.1. Because without it, then your animation looks extremely, it looks a little low quality. Because you're just going to be snapping out of the animation. Fade in is already set to 0.1 by default, but fade out is automatically set to 0. I suggest always doing 0.1 minimum for all your animations on everything you make, because it just makes it look cleaner. Makes it look professional. And the speed doesn't really matter. You can have it like a little faster, a little slower. Just don't make it too fast, don't make it too slow, because it might end up breaking something else. And to find stabilized target short, that would be in Salaryman, and it's right here. Right near the top. The glow is set to just white. There's only one of them. The opacity is set to 0.5, and the alt opacity is set to 0.8. This is just so that it has a nice fade out when it actually does appear. As you can see from the weird box around me when this happens, since Moog is a large character, he is set to a 2.5 scale. I have also set this to a 2.6 just so it can wrap around him really nice. You don't need to do that. That is just if you're making big characters. If you make a big character, make sure the size of the glow matches the scale of your character. Or just like 0.1 bigger. That's what it did for Moog. It looked good on him, so I don't know. Do what you wish. And the time, you can have that set to a low amount just because it's a little flash. It's just a, little thing. And I would suggest keeping it around the same time as your animation or a little faster. And the sparks, very simple sparks. I just have them down lower because when you're hitting Moog, you're like hitting his shins or like his pelvis area. So that's just why it's a little lower. But I just have this set to like a nice like yellowy orange with a 255, 190, and 0, and the alt color is white just so it has like a nice white glow, like inner glow to it. The opacity is normal. And the size is 2, and the time is 0.2 seconds. You don't need to do the size. Again, that's just because he's a bigger character. But the time is important because if you do anything longer, say 1, it's going to linger for a long time, and it's going to make it, look a little weird. So I suggest 0.2, 0.1 is too short. It will fizzle out before it even gets to do anything. 0.3 isn't bad. 0.3 is a pretty good one, but 0.4 is stretching it. So I would say the absolute minimum you should go for is 0.2. Has a nice distance on it, and it's fast enough to not be lingering for too long. And this should be a part of your humanoid root point, or sorry, humanoid root part. Same with the glow. And this weight is only here because if you have too many things going on at once, then sometimes certain blocks just won't activate. So if you are having that problem, add a wait timer and make it as fast or slow as you want. Just make sure there's a wait because too many things at once can cause issues. And then here we have some of the most important blocks here. So we have an Add Awakening, -4. This will take away some of your meter and make it act more like a stamina bar instead of an actual meter. You can still make an ultimate if you want. It's just going to be a little easier to pop it because of the stagger branches that we will get into next. Now the stun. Stun, I suggest around a 0.7, maybe a little lower. Really depending on what kind of character you make. If it's a boss character, I'd suggest making it a little lower. I just made mine a little higher because I felt like Moog is a pretty powerful boss character because of his defense. So I just set it a little higher just to make it so that my friends didn't get mad at me. And then a negative 1.5 to health. This health thing, this isn't really necessary. It's more so to counteract the passive healing, and it's also necessary for a mental thing. Because when you attack somebody and you see the health go down, that means you are feeling the progress of something happening. And if you just were to see nothing go down, then it wouldn't feel good. It wouldn't feel good to hit Moog. It wouldn't feel good to hit anybody using this Stagger system. So I have that there to keep motivation up and to keep it so that when players hit somebody, it feels like they actually are gaining progress. So there's actually something there. But be wary though, because this could actually mess you over in the future if, again, you're going against any Megami who knows how to use the one button. And then I suggest adding also a hit sound. This is just for the exact same reason as the health and for the animations and visuals here. It's for motivation, while also giving feedback to the player, so that you actually know that you are being hit. Now, for all of these are... Oh, it's a lot. Frankly, I don't even know if I could explain it all. But I'm gonna try. So, first, we have Stagger 2. This is, I'm pretty sure... Is this the one that... Okay, so, yes. Stagger 2. This is you dying. And this is an execution. So, when Moog gets low, or whatever character you're making gets low, they need a way to die, because without these two branches here, you can't actually die. Nothing can hit you except for domains and Mahito. Which is only his domain that can actually hit you, so it's, yeah, only domains. And that's kind of lame, because what if your character that you're playing against this character doesn't have a domain? You're fucked. So, what I'd say is you have to, yeah, make sure this is here. I'm going to go through this now and explain how it works. Not yet, actually. We're going to go to Stagger 1, and then it's going to lead into Stagger 2, then 3. Also, you need to make sure this one, Stagger 2, goes first, because if it doesn't go first, it's always going to go to Stagger. And how that works is Stagger 2 has a condition on it where you have to be lower than 10 of your health. And if you are not lower than that, then it will skip... Oh, sorry, I accidentally just... There we go, sorry. If this one does not come first, then it will always go to this one. See, like, it'll always go there, and it won't continue. Or it won't do this one. It will still do this one, but it won't do this one. I don't know why. Don't ask me. I'm still learning too. See, now Stagger 2, if that one goes first, it tries to check it, but if you are not under the health threshold, it will skip it, and then go to Stagger 1, and do blocking, and do the hit cancel. I genuinely don't know why this hit cancel's here, but I'm too afraid to remove it just in case it breaks something. Because I have had that happen before in this, and it took like 2 hours to fix, and I'm not spending 2 hours to fix anything. So I suggest just copying down this, and if it works for you, that's fine. If you don't need to do this, then tell me in the comments, please, because I want to remove as much bloat as possible. Anyway. And then, now our final branch is blocking, which we've already done. And you're probably wondering why we have a branch that goes back here. This is so that when the counter gets hit, it goes back and it actually triggers it again. Because even if we have no remove on hit, it's still gonna remove on hit for this thing. I don't know why it does it. It just doesn't work anymore if you don't do this. So what we're gonna do for Stagger, no, for 2, sorry, not Stagger, 2, is we're gonna have a thing here that goes back to blocking. Just because, you don't want to mess it up. And then Stagger, we also have a blocking branch here, just in case the first one doesn't work. That's purely it. Now we can go through this. So this animation here, this is just the standard Stagger from Mekumaru's ult. And that would be down here, and then you scroll until you find it here, right above spawn and right underneath jump crouch. And I have mine set to 0.7, but you don't need to do that. And again, remember, fade out. Always have it. And also, just in case, last hit. Remember our last hit rule. -1 means you. 1 means the enemy. Or whoever else. And now, we also have an iframe block. This is so that people can actually see the animation, because I initially ran into a problem where if somebody were to hit you during this, like immediately, completely cancels the animation, you wouldn't even see it. So I added iframes just so that, they don't miss the animation, because you spent time on this, and, let's see the animation, it's cool. And then we have this, which this doesn't need to be 100. This Add Awakening block. Your character can have... This could be at 50, and it would still be fine. Your character can... or needs to have at least an Add Awakening block, though. Because if you don't, then you come out of Stagger, you get hit again, you're immediately back in Stagger. So you will always want Add Awakening something. Oh, I did not mean to do that. And something I just remembered, there is a condition on Stagger as well. Has Awakening 1 flipped. This makes it so that it doesn't trigger all the goddamn time. You can also change this to something else if you want, but to keep it with the most clarity for the player, I'd suggest just keeping it at 1. I would have done 0, but sometimes 0 bugs out. 1 is the safest one to do. This also makes it so that if you get hit, it goes, oh, that's not working. Have to go here. Oh, wait, that's not working. Have to go here. And then it goes all the way back to the beginning. So that's why that's there. And then now, we just have like a visual again. Most of the visuals in this are for feedback and to tell you what's going on. Same with the sounds. I have a custom uploaded sound here. This is the actual Elden Ring stance break sound. I will leave this in the description so that people can copy this down and use it on their own. I suggest volume 6. It's loud, yeah, but like if you are getting staggered, you're gonna want to know when that happens, because that's when you can deal damage to Moog. That's when you can really get him, like, like, fuck him up. And then, after a 3.5 second wait, it'll go back to blocking. Which I now remembered why this is here. No, I didn't. I thought that was something else. Never mind. Ignore that. And then now Stagger 2. Now that we have all this out of the way, we can... Oh yeah, sorry, no, I didn't get that all that out of the way. The negative health. This is the most important part of the Stagger, besides the Ad Awakening. This here will lower your health so that it actually rewards the player to get the Stagger. It's a giant chunk of your health. It's like, oh my god, that's so much damage. But it's going to be necessary because you're barely taking damage to begin with. This is the only consistent way to deal damage to a character with Stagger. And now, we can move on to Stagger 2. Sorry I'm all over the place, by the way. Just, it's how my brain works. This... You can do whatever you want for the animation. What I've done is that when you hit the floor after the animation here, it will play this. It'll do a different sound, a glass breaking sound. So it'll like tell them, oh my god, this is the final hit. This is when I can kill him. And then we have a hit cancel that goes into Stagger 3, which this affects the person hitting you. And this is going to be... Wait, is it affecting the person hitting you? Oh, wait, no, sorry. This is affecting you again. Sorry, completely missed it. Sorry, flip means on hit cancel that if you get hit. My bad. Sorry, my brain's a little fried today. This is a very complicated move. Stagger 3, it will play a sound. This is another custom sound. I did not upload this. This is just someone else's upload of Yuda's Black Flash like guitar thing. And then it's going to summon a hitbox on you that does 30 damage. And then it's going to send you also to the Bozo branch. You can name this whatever you want. I just name it Bozo because, man, you're the Bozo that got hit. And then also activate the final hit tag, which has a second wait time. Now, where's Bozo? Bozo, I'm pretty sure... Yeah, whenever I have a branch named Bozo, I usually use it as a +1 or like a +1 because Bozo's like the other person. It's like, oh, look at that Bozo. So if you ever see that in the future and I forget to explain it, that's why. Like, or I mean, that's what Bozo means. And then they're gonna use Head Splitter, which is an instant kill, which will kill the Moog player. Actually, yeah. I think this actually belongs down here. Yep. But yeah. Sorry, that was a little confusing. And I'm pretty sure that is it. Yeah. That is how the Stagger system works. It might have been a little complicated, and I did jump back and forth a lot, and I did have to correct myself a lot. But that's because I'm doing this without a script. I've never liked script writing for videos. It just takes up too much time that I don't have. Because I'm just recording these, like, out of my room, and I have a lot of people that rely on me for some stuff. Like, so... But we don't need to get into that. That's just a whole different thing. Either way, that is that. And I thank you so much for sticking around. And I actually have a little surprise for you guys because you stuck around for so long. I made another moveset. And this one is already inside my document. And any keen eyes will be able to have spotted this. Oh, things fucked up again. No spawn animation this time. Also, I moved my my workshop here. But this is Geto slash Kenjaku, but we'll get to that once we get to the old. For the M1s, it's just simple M1s. Just very, very simple stuff. For the dash, it's actually just a quick step. It is on a, somewhat normal cooldown. And the reason why is because this dash is actually a counter at the exact same time. And I don't see many people doing that. And what that does is it summons a tiny little squid that dashes right through the enemy. And then now for the first move. Our first move is Summon Ritual. It is a grab. On miss, it has a little bit of end lag. And on hit, kicks them away and summons a Man-Eater. Combos like exactly how you think it would into M1s. And it combos really well into your R, which I will show you now.
You're lucky that you got off so easy.
Your R
You're lucky that you got
is
off
just a simple grab combo extender. But when your opponent is really low as an execution, you can grab them and absorb them.
Let us meet again in the new strong.
And you can eat their soul. And it gives you a little bit of ult meter every time you do. And this works on grounded opponents.
In the new world. You're lucky that you got off so easy.
So yeah, you can also do this to any dead opponent. You don't have to be the one that killed them. So you can go up to another guy's kill and just take it. Or not take the kill, but like you could take the corpse and just chomp that shit down. So you can...
You're lucky that you got off so easy.
Pretty decent 2-move combo. You can combo into more moves, however. Just move him into a non-destroyed area. Your second move is Jump Kick. A simple, just forward dash kind of move. And it knocks people onto the ground. I'm pretty sure it also... Nope, it does not hit on ground either. But what you can do is...
You're lucky that you got off so easy.
Yeah. Pretty good combo, I'd say. Let's just see that on a full health dummy real quick.
You're lucky that you got off so easy.
Oh. I did the combo wrong. Oopsies.
You're lucky that you got off so easy.
So about half health. A little over. I might turn down the damage a little bit on Summon Ritual. Who knows? You'll see when I upload it to the document and try it for yourself. And then now your 3, Daruma doll. It is the giant doll that Geto uses to crush the guy at the end of hidden inventory. Yes, that is spoilers, but that season has been out for like over a year, so that's your fault. And that hits on ground, so you can use that in the combo that I already showed you. So 1, 2, 3, bam, bop. Oh, I messed it up. Geto is supposed to be a somewhat harder character.
You're lucky that you got off so easy.
Yeah, so not that hard of a thing if you can get used to it, but
You're lucky that you got off so easy.
yeah, about a half health or so. Around the same damage as Nanami's combo with 3 of their moves. And then now, your last move, which is a counter. Which summons the Ghost Girl from the hidden inventory. And yeah, that is the base moveset. Time for the ult.
Kid's not bad.
Long time no see.
And it's Kenjaku. I have taken a lot of inspiration from Kenjaku's a lot of his initial character. And from what we have seen in story so far, I don't really know much about Kenjaku past the anti-gravity system. But then again, I feel like I've done pretty well to faithfully recreate this. So he has different M1s, but his R and dash are the same. And I'm going to give myself infinite ult really quickly. Be warned though, when you use infinite ult, the M1s will break after a certain point. Yeah, they'll revert back to Ghettos. That's because of a tag that I use that lasts for the exact same amount of time as the ult. So that bug will never appear unless you use Infinite Awakening. Same happens with my other moveset that I still have yet to make a video on. But really, it's such a nothing bug that like it doesn't really need my attention, and I've already spent hours and hell even days on this moveset, so I don't think I'll be doing anything about it. So for your first move, oh damn, a little rude. For your first move, you have Slashing Blood. The reason why I also gave him Slashing Blood is because, well, he's Choso's father, and that means that he would have had to have the blood technique, and I'm pretty sure he does. He has all the techniques from his past bodies, so it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to assume that he has blood manipulation. And now for his second move, Anti-Gravity System, which flings people up and then down. Doesn't really do that much damage. I will be promptly buffing that. And now for your third move, which I'd say is a really powerful move. It has potential to instant kill if someone isn't knocked out of it using some kind of ranged ragdoll move. Maximum Uzumaki. Which, by the way, all of the voice lines that you hear on this have been ported by me because, for some strange reason, nobody does the English Kenjaku or Geto, which I think is the better version. Either way.
Supreme art. Uzumaki.
This is where he uses...
Stand proud. You are strong.
So what happens here is that he uses Uzumaki with Mahito, and he uses an idle transfiguration kind of like aura beam, and it will over time deal enough damage, and then on kill it will explode them into a pile of blood. And now for the most complicated move on this entire moveset, Domain Expansion, Womb Perfusion. I took the the route of his domain, because his domain, from what I remember, I should have probably researched this before I made it, but I have already put so much time into it. His domain can use any technique that he's already had beforehand and infuse it into the domain. So what I've done is after every single move that you can do on this, it will change what the domain does. So after using Slashing Blood, your domain will be a blood type domain. Speaking of which, the domain is also Open Barrier. And what this domain does is it will make enemies bleed profusely over time. You can't do anything during this, but well, I guess like after a bit you can. And all hits are linked. So anybody taking damage from wound perfusion or blood wound perfusion will also get hit by whatever you hit. And then also domains are color coded and they have different like radiating sounds from it. So you can tell from a distance that, oh, this is the blood version or this is the gravity version. And the spirit version is in a closed barrier domain, but the reason why is just because I use Mahito's domain, since it's using idle transfiguration through cursed spirit manipulation. Also because I didn't feel like making a third one. I got a little lazy at the end. I might come back and remake that, though. Either way. Anti-gravity system, and then domain expansion. And then what this will do will fling anybody caught in its radius and deal a large chunk of damage. So if I were to do that again, if they pop back into the hitbox, they can potentially die. And then finally,
Supreme art. Uzumaki.
also just to say that the blood version of domain expansion is blockable, kind of like how Sukuna's is. So you don't need to worry about that. Then finally, it's just Mahito's domain.
You're lucky
And
you
that
got off
is
so easy.
Kenjaku and Geto. One more thing. Something that I have not released to the public yet, and honestly I'm very unsure if I will, because it can be heavily abused, is something that I've had for a while. The prison realm. Oh, I have to reset because my L's already in ult. Oops. So what the prison realm does, I can just tell you now, is it is a pseudo ban. Or at least a temporary ban. Because if you leave the server and rejoin, it completely fixes it. But what this does is you place down the prison realm, And anybody who walks on top of that will get caught in it. And when that prison realm closes, they can't see anything, they cannot move, they cannot be hit. Nothing. Complete and total nothing. The only way to get out of it is for me to go into my server list and kill them, or for them to leave the game. There's absolutely nothing that can free you from a prison realm. And if you use it more as a grab, it will play a voice line.
Let us meet again in the new world.
Also, that explosion does do damage around it, so don't stand too close when that happens. It also takes all of the ult meter, so that if I do ever free you, you can't use your ult. But yeah, that is the tutorial, that is Geto, and that is the prison realm. Thank you all for watching, and if you enjoy my content, like, subscribe, and if you have tried my content, then leave a comment and tell me how it is. If you find any bugs, tell me, and I will personally see to it that it gets fixed to the best of my ability. If I can't fix it, oopsies. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day or night, depending on wherever you may be. And thank you for watching.